hello my fans of Pandemonium. It's me, your demented leader of fun, back again with part 2 of the 69 Williams Phantom gun. So, I'm going to move fast, so you guys better put on your seatbelts and away we go. Okay, so I plan to talk about 3 main things as far as modifications I did to the Phantom gun. Now, please keep in mind that these modifications can be done to pretty much any gun game. They're very generic, and I'll go over that. The first 2 are relatively simple. A beginner could do that. On the third one, I would say an intermediate to an expert guy working on EMs and knows a little about electricity so they don't blow up the game or catch the house on fire. That would be really great not to do. Alright, for safety reasons, please unplug the machine and have it off, and I just don't want any of you guys getting electrocuted. I've been there, done that, not fun. And as far as the modifications we're going to do today, or I'm going to show you, at least in some detail, basically they're reversible, which means if you don't like them, you can just take them out, or if you need to sell the game in the future and you want it back to original, easy money. Just take it off. It's not a big deal. Okay, for modifications, I'm going to talk about 3 main ones today. LEDs for one, and the bell, and the background music. So 1, 2, 3, let's go. Alright, first off, LEDs. Yes, these little guys here. Basically what I get is non-ghosting ones. I pretty much like sticking with those. Okay, ghosting, non-ghosting, basically if you're not familiar with that, a ghosting one will be okay for GI or general illumination because there's going to be some sort of residual current that causes the LED to flicker a little bit sometimes. But on feature lamps, which would be like say your shots and game overlights, stuff like that, that tell you important things about the game that's going on, you want non-ghosting ones because you don't want these things flickering and you think that you may have hit something or did something or something's wrong with the game because it's flickering and you're confused basically. Okay, so next thing you're probably wondering, what kind of LEDs I use for the Phantom gun? Alright, I use something called color changers, which you can see in the Phantom face on the back glass. It's an LED that has maybe, I'm just guessing here, maybe about 4 or 5 different colors it goes to. You can kind of see basically that in the video. And I didn't use any like 455 type LED, which are flasher ones on this game. I just really like the color changers and I think they did the job that I wanted to do. So your gun game, you might think that you want both. I think that would be cool. I just didn't do it on the 2 Phantom games I did. So regular LEDs, as far as the different straight up colors, like if I have, you know, reds that I want pop or yellows, I just match them with the same. So red on red, yellow on yellow, whatever, and they just stay that color. As far as the brands, I used Coin Taker and Comet. I think on these ones I used Comet for the totally restored one. I have used Coin Taker. They're both great. You could check on different things. There's little subtle differences, maybe flash speed, stuff like that. But you can research that and see what's right for your game. Because hey, this is all about your tastes. I'm just showing you today what I did to mine, what I thought was cool, what I liked, and you're going to be different, and that's great. Alright, another note as far as the LEDs is that I did use number 47 regular incandescent bulbs for around the score wheels. I like that look. It makes it look like it's stock as far as the original look and color coming through the white. Personally, I'm still not convinced that white LEDs give a true warm light like an incandescent bulb does. One of these days they probably will. Alright, and here we are going to number 2, the bell. Alright, the bell is a very easy modification, just like LEDs, easy peasy. But you are going to have to know how to use a solder gun and how to solder. So, I'm not going to teach you that. But, I will give you a hint on where to go. YouTube! For the bell, I ended up getting a 4-inch Williams off of eBay. They're kind of uncommon, but they are out there. They were found on basically older Williams games. The good news is if you can't find a 4-inch one, you could get a 3-inch bell, just like the one in my hand here. And basically you can get those from Pinball Resource. They'll have 3-inch ones, whole assemblies, just like what I showed you. And they run, depends on what you want. The one with the black bell here is the cheapest one, probably about 40 bucks. If you wanted one with the brass bell, less than 50. It should be noted that the bell cannot be bigger than 4 inches. Not on a Phantom gun anyway. If you look at the picture that I'm going to show you up on the screen, it's right next to the speaker of the game, which right below that goes the tape recorder for the background sounds. You can go 4 inch or smaller, and your choice there, whatever comes. As far as mounting the bell, it's easy. It's just whatever's on the bracket there, get yourself some screws that accommodate the length, that don't go too far into the cabinet, and there you go. You mounted the bell. You get a couple wires that you have, colors, just whatever you think you want to use. Run the wires to the back of the cabinet and up where your score wheels are, and you'll want to tie in to the 1,000 point relay. So the coil on that, you'll put one wire on one side, one on the other, get your old trusty solder gun out and solder away, and you are done. It's really that simple. So every time the 1,000 relay pulses, it'll pulse your bell and you'll get a ding. Alright, now we got the third and last one. A spooky music modification. Yes, you're going to need a cassette recorder for this. So I ended up finding two, because basically you need one that doesn't have an auto shut off when the power goes off. Elsewise your recorder's not going to work right and your music's not going to work. So I found a Sony and an RCA. Okay, so if you're doing spooky music and that, great, maybe you got a Phantom gun, but the one thing to remember is that you can use this music and this recorder and the rest of the stuff I'm going to show you on how to do this on pretty much any gun game that doesn't have already background music. So it could be a Western thing, you could have Haunted House, you could have, geez, I don't know, whatever you want, a ballet. Alright, so when you do buy your recorder, buy new. Do not buy used. Because I did that and I got a recorder. It said in the ad it was good, but I got it and the tape was dragging. The thing was worn. It was way used up. So just save yourself some money in that. Buy new. It'll cost a little bit more, but you'll be happy with it. Now you got to remember, this stuff is basically old stock. It hasn't been made since I think the 90s. So they are out there. You can't find them new. Just be patient. eBay's got. Now that you got your cassette recorder, you're going to need a cassette to go along with that. And what you're going to want is what's called an endless cassette. This is a tape that loops. And you can basically do a 3-minute, 6-minute, 9-minute, I think they even have 12-minute. It just really depends on you. You get to record the music on it, whatever you want. Get some haunted house tapes from Halloween and that's what I did. I used like 2 or 3 different ones, mixed them up. But the background, I did 2 different recordings, kind of one on top of each other to kind of layer it. Okay, so you have your cassette player, you got your cassette tape. You're going to need some other parts to go along with it to get this baby installed. So you're going to need 4 L brackets to hold the recorder in the cabinet. You're going to need some foam padding to go along with that. I used some used air conditioner padding that came with some window units that I had bought. You can just go to Lowe's, Home Depot and pick all this stuff up that I'm talking about. A fuse and fuse holder. I just got one off of Marco's, the fuse holder. You can get your fuse from them too. 5-amp fuse. Let's see what else. Oh, you're going to need a used pinball rubber band to hold the thing in place, and you're going to need a used relay. For me, I got a Williams one because hey, it's a Williams Phantom gun. It's going to have a high voltage contact on that. If you don't have that, you're going to have to make one like I did. I'm not going to teach you how to make one. You can probably find a YouTube video on that too. But that pretty much is all the parts. Oh, you're going to be hooking up into the voltage regulator to run power to a single gang electrical box. And I got all pictures up there. You'll see all this stuff. So it's not all like blah blah blah. What's EM-PINMAN talking about? He's throwing all this stuff at me. And then you'll need a switch for that has a light for an on-off. And you want this single gang box with the switch and the plug, because you're going to actually plug your recorder into it, so you don't have to cut any wires or do anything special with the recorder. It just plugs right into that. And the switch is so you can have an on-off. So say you're at the Texas Pinball Festival, because I had thought of bringing my gun game there. But the thing is, you got a 1-inch speaker in this recorder. It's going to get drowned out with all the sounds, and all you're going to do is just blow out the speaker trying to turn it up. It's a good speaker for the home, but when you're out on a pinball festival, you're going to want to shut that off so you don't blow up your cassette recorder. On a special note, if you wanted to get it where you could bring the machine to a pinball festival and use the sound in that, you would have to probably get an amplifier and another speaker, probably a 5-inch speaker, and you know, there's really no room, at least in my cabinet, for that. So if you do have a bigger game, maybe a 2-player game would accommodate that. You could do that, and that would take care of the whole deal of not being loud enough at a show. As far as the power, you're going to be taking it from the voltage regulator, as I mentioned, for the tape recorder, and then also you're going to be tying in your new lock relay to the original lock relay in the back of the cabinet. And what's going to happen is you get the wires soldered onto that to your lock relay. So when that one actually pulls in, yours will pull in. And that one doesn't turn on or pull in until a game is started. So what will happen is when the game's over, it'll unlatch, and that turns your power off onto your tape recorder. Alright, what you're going to have to do with the wires is go and try to find places to route them. They go through already pre-existing holes. I didn't have to drill any new holes. You'll see from the pictures what I'm talking about as far as routing and where things go in the cabinet, as far as mounting, say, the relay or the cassette recorder, the bell, the lock relay that you're putting in, the fuse block. All that stuff is there in the picture, so you'll get an idea. You'll have to go behind like the cardboard scenery in that to hide wires and go through. You'll kind of see once you get into it and watching my pictures that you'll just get the idea of what's going on. Go, oh, okay. It's not that hard. It's kind of a pain sometimes depending on how you're routing them, but you'll make it. Trust me. Important note, when you're going to test this thing when you're done, make sure that your play button is engaged on the cassette recorder. It sounds kind of obvious, but if you don't have that engaged, you're not going to get anything. And it should stay locked in and engaged always. It should never pop off. That's just how it is. It's always in the on position. Very special note, your endless cassette, do not rewind it, fast forward it, or pause it. It will hate you. You will hate it because it won't work anymore. It will break and you will be sad. Even if you do it once, it's all over with and you have to buy another one. So you can record, you can play, you can stop, you can eject. That is all. That basically covers the 3 modifications, folks. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and hey, you guys stay healthy, stay happy, and go play some old-time pinball. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.